AITA for refusing to meet my mother after she accused me of being in love with my stepfather? English isn't my first language. I, 21F, have always had a good relationship with my mother, 46F, and that didn't change after my parents divorced for personal reasons. However, things took a turn when my stepfather, 37M, entered our lives. My mother has always been a bit eccentric, but she was never hurtful, and she always made sure my older sister, 23F, and I felt loved. That changed when she started dating my stepfather. While I got along with him and he respected my privacy, my mother started acting differently. At first, it was subtle things like, "You two spend a lot of time together, and you're getting really friendly." I brushed it off, mostly because I didn't thought much of it. My stepfather and I only spent time together when I visited my mom. Yes, we joked around, but it was harmless and never inappropriate. Jokes like, "Looking like death today, huh?" We never got physical. Never poked each other or other playful touches, as I do not feel comfortable with being touched for personality reasons, and he always been respectful. As time passed, my mother's comments became more aggressive. I started to distance myself from both of them to avoid ruining the good relationship we had, though I didn't know what I was doing wrong. One day, my mother invited me over for coffee and cake, and during our conversation, she suddenly asked if I had feelings for my stepfather. I was caught off guard, shocked, and mostly confused. I told her no and asked why she thought that. She said it was because we were too close to just be friends, and she noticed the way he looked at me. I reassured her that, while we got along well, I only saw him as a father figure and didn't feel anything romantic toward him. I also reminded her that she'd always wanted us to get along. But then she got angry, accusing me of lying and insisting she wasn't blind. The conversation escalated, and I stood up, telling her that the whole thing was ridiculous. I left, and she began texting me things like, "I can't believe my own daughter would betray me," among other hurtful things. I didn't respond and talked to my older sister about it. She advised me to not engage with our mother for a while, saying that she thought our mom was acting completely out of character. So, I took her advice and stopped visiting and talking to my mother. It's been 2 months of no contact, and today I received a message from her asking if we could meet up to talk about what happened. I'm torn because, on one hand, I don't really want to meet her after everything that's happened, but on the other hand, I'd like to resolve things and hear her side. AITA for not wanting to meet her? Update. Thank you all for your support and advice on how to handle the situation with my mother. I never expected my post to reach so many people, but I truly appreciate the help. You all helped me a lot, and without you guys, I wouldn't have know what to do. Now, here's an update. After 2 weeks of thinking about what to do, I decided to text my mother and agreed to meet her at a cafe, as I didn't feel comfortable going to her house. I was nervous, of course, not knowing what to expect. When we met at the cafe, we didn't hug like we usually do, and my mother looked like she hadn't slept in days. Before I could even say a word, she immediately apologized and admitted she was in the wrong. That completely caught me off guard, as I hadn't expected her to apologize so quickly, but I was relieved that she did without any argument. I asked her why she would think something so awful about me, especially since she knows me better than that. The moment I confronted her, she started crying, something my mother rarely does, which left me in shock. I did my best to calm her down. Once she had settled, she confessed that my stepfather had been cheating on her for a year, and she had found out just a few weeks before she accused me. She told me she didn't know who the other woman was and had been trying to gather evidence. Each day, her paranoia grew, and she started seeing signs that weren't really there. She was hurt, overwhelmed, and not thinking clearly. She never meant to hurt me. Hearing this left me in shock, and then angry. Angry at my stepfather for betraying my mother, hurting her and making her feel like she isn't enough. Without hesitation, I sat beside her and hugged her, reassuring her that I forgave her and that I was there for her. I asked if she needed any help, and she said she'd let me know. For now, things between my mother and me are okay again, and I'm doing my best to support her through the divorce. My older sister is also aware of the situation, as I've kept her updated after each meeting with our mother, and she's offering her help as well. I will update again if anything happened, and again, thank you all for the help.